Is your class bored? Do they get tired of hearing you lecture? Are you using a worksheet again? You should incorporate some active learning strategies in your lessons. Not only are they easy to do, but your students will find your class fun and engaging. 4 corners. This strategy can be used multiple ways and does not necessarily have to be on 4 specific corners of the room. One way is to post questions or prompts on posters for students or groups to answer or write on. Students rotate through the posters in order to keep group size down and engagement up. You can utilize the use of a timer or music for more structured rotation through the posters. Another way to use this strategy is for students to have decreasing amounts of time at each poster. This way, they aren't seeing what is on each poster and simply just agreeing with what has already been said. Another approach to eliminate this problem would be to post envelopes at each prompt, and groups would record their response on an index card that would be placed in the envelope when they are finished. The last group at the envelope can read each index card and summarize what has been said from the class. This strategy can be used instead of having students answer pre or post activity questions simply on a worksheet. After this activity is finished, you can hang the posters in your classroom for students to use as a reference, and it's a great display of authentic student work. I see, I think, I wonder. Find a photograph, illustration, or piece of artwork that you think is relevant to the content you are teaching. This strategy works best in a whole group setting in 3 steps. Show the piece to the students the first time with only the directions of record what you see. This is to only be factual observations, not inferences. Students should have independent time to record and think before sharing out. Next, the students will record what this piece makes them think about. This is the time for them to make inferences and connections. The last time, the students are to determine what the piece makes them wonder about. This stem is for questions or phenomena they may still be unsure of or curious about. This strategy works well at the beginning of the unit to introduce a concept and to discuss background knowledge. It is also a great way for students to make abstract connections with the content they are learning about. Jump in. This strategy can be used during a warm-up, close read, or even directions of an assignment. Each student has the same piece of text in front of them and actively chooses to participate in reading out loud. Before this begins, you may indicate how much of the text you want the students to read, such as 3 sentences, a paragraph, and so on. One student usually begins reading, and when they are finished their chunk of text, another student jumps in and begins reading. If more than one student begins reading at the same time, they are to either use vocabulary password. Create a slideshow of vocabulary words or post them for the class to see one at a time. One student goes first and has their back to the word so they don't know what it is. The remainder of the class can see the word and has to summarize it without using the word in the clue. To challenge students, have them keep the clue under 5 words. The student then has to call on peers for clues in order to correctly identify the word. The classmate that gives them the winning clue swaps places and then is next up. Incorporating active learning benefits students and is easy to introduce, set up, and keep in your toolbox of strategies. Go online and check out other strategies that you can use in your classroom. Once you start using them, you and your students will be hooked.